This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The KSL Sports Zone and BI Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the BI Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest. Question of the morning. Why is BYU's Kalani Sitake your favorite coach's favorite coach? ESPN with a long story, and it goes back to what you said in the last segment, PK, where we're in that time where you got to write about college football and camps are open, but how much can you say about closed scrimmages and practices? So ESPN has a long story about how Kalani Sitake is loved and respected by so many coaches across the country. And quotes from coaches, and we know there can be beefs and rivalries, but man, people had a lot of glowing stuff to say in that story.
Yeah, and I don't think it was any timing and due to the stuff that we had talked about last week, because if you read the quotes and read the story, which I did, assume you did, that it was clear that the writer went to the Star at Media Days just over a month ago, and because everybody's available there.
There's only two ways to write that story. One, you spend a long time as you do preseason stuff and you collect the quotes. Yeah. Or two, you go to a media day and you run around and collect the quotes.
And that's what they're there for.
Right.
They're there to speak to the media.
And either way, this was done either weeks or months ago.
Yeah, it was done.
At the Star.
Yeah, because there was video and you could tell.
And you could tell the background.
Yeah. And this man is truly beloved by everybody. I mean, and I go back to Riley Jensen, who does the mental performance stuff and is a former player and coach and all that stuff, coaching his kids' teams now, talking about being authentic. And because of the fact that I literally covered Kalani as a beat writer 30 years ago almost, and that's who he was. And then he goes about being in the coaching business. I think he went to Eastern Arizona there, which obviously is a junior college, and then goes to Southern Utah. And then they bring him up here when Kyle took over, which is 22 years ago now. And then your first time you see him, it's like you just saw him last week. And he just buddies up to you, to me, a nobody, just like he remembered me running around at the practice fields when he was playing for the Cougars. And a bunch of time had gone by, but yet, hey, oh, yeah, just boom, picks right up. And it's not phony at all. And then continues as a defensive assistant, defensive coordinator, goes to Oregon State, was it only a year or two, and then comes right back and been around him consistently now for many years, text with him now and again and so forth, exchange funny stuff in lives. I told him once I went to a concert out at, what's the amphitheater called now out there on the west side, and I run into a guy who recognizes me, and, practices are closed, but he says, hey, I got video. I was there. And he shows me. Well, the funny thing is he's got a cup of hooch in each hand he has to put down to show me.
He has a beverage that he wouldn't be buying on campus at BYU. Two of them,
yeah. And he's got his phone in his pocket, and has put him down, and then shows me the video of them having practice, whatever it was. And so then I tell Kalani about it. He gets a laugh and makes a comment. I don't want to repeat it as far as what he said. Not that it was anything off color or anything, but and it was funny. We had a laugh over it. So he's just so personable that it's not phony. I've been around coaches who treat some people one way and then another set of people another way. I don't need to name names. We know who they are. But that's not who this man is. And so he is so beloved universally, but it's sort of funny that the timing of the story, it came out, it wasn't done last week. It was done weeks ago, and then they just chose to print it yesterday, the day before, whenever it was, when all this commotion is going on. And a lot of people saying, well, my gosh, everybody loves him. Why doesn't the AD love him? Blah, 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 blah. We know that in the university. Come on, man, you can't afford to lose him. I will say, I was thinking about this yesterday in preparation for what we're talking about. So many of the people on the staff, they're there because of him. That's an absolute fact. I can go down and check off the number of people that are there at that place and make vital contributions, and they're there for the primary reason is the relationship with that man. I don't think they can afford to lose him.
We know some of the names. Obviously, not everyone has the same public profile, so it could be true for someone on that staff, whether they have a big name and a high public profile or they don't. Mm-hmm. But clearly, someone like Gary Anderson, who walks off the practice field the first time the media sees him, like, all right, go ahead, because he's wearing a BYU shirt and BYU shorts and a BYU hat. Go ahead, give it to me. Let me hear it. We all know, he's a Ute. And he played there, and he went back and coached there and all that stuff. And so he knows it looks weird and all that, but it's all trumped by the personal relationship.
He's a Kalani guy.
Yes, he's a Kalani guy.
And Gary
they were at Southern Utah together.
And vice versa.
Yeah, they were at Southern Utah together, and Gary had a chance to hire him there when Gary's profile was growing, and Kalani needed a foot in the door. I think Kalani had been JC ball down in Arizona.
I just said that. Eastern Arizona.
I forget the order, but yes. Some of these coaches could never have this kind of story written because they're introverts. There's another group that's so obsessively driven they can't lighten up and have fun the way Kalani can. I mean, they quote in the story, about Deion, I liked you better when you were a Niner than a Cowboy, which is probably not what Deion hears a lot. Probably hears a lot, Cowboys are so popular. Most people probably love that era, and he was there longer.
Yeah, but the Niners were really popular at that time, too.
They were.
Because they were really good.
Yeah. But he was in and out of San Francisco pretty fast, I think. So.
But he won a bowl, didn't he?
He did. And then he went right back to Dallas and won another one, I think.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he's superstar as a player.
But there are people who just can't. I mean, Ryan Day is he's wired too tight. I just don't think he's going to have a lot of those conversations. And I think Kalani does have a lot of conversations like that. They getting quotes from Rich Rod and, people who've crossed paths with him multiple times in multiple places.
Yes. Sonny Dykes.
Yeah. And you just think of all the coaches you've seen at podiums. I mean, Saban, because just of the sheer volume of it. Just so detail-oriented and so intense and so... I mean, people have a fondness for Saban and they appreciate his contribution to the game, but he's just not going to be as warm as Kalani. There's no way. He's not wired like that. So I think why is Kalani your favorite coach's favorite coach? He is wired different than a lot of them. And doesn't mean he isn't detail-oriented. I mean, they went into how much he's won.
Well, they're winning a ton.
Yeah, and they've got the most wins at the power level without a playoff berth, the best winning percentage over the last few years.
Somebody chose to keep him out.
Yeah. So that can rub people the wrong way, when you're beating them. But it doesn't. And rivalries can rub people the wrong way. We've seen that, but, that quote's from Kyle in there. It doesn't. But I think the fact that he's an extrovert and he's just so...
the word is authentic.
Yes.
He is authentic
and
through and through. And it's legitimate. It is not phony.
And coaches are out there so much now that if you are, or to whatever degree you are, it's hard to hide that. It's just so it's such with the recruiting and the media demands and the booster demands, you just can't hide. You got to be out there. And so if you're inconsistent, people are going to realize it. And he's consistent, and that's why you hear the word authentic.
And he's won.
Yep.
And he's won a ton. And the public support for him right now, if this is a battle between the administration and BYU, which I'm not saying it is, but some people perceive it as that, he is winning in a landslide. This is Reagan Mondale. Those are two presidential guys there. We'll get to you in a minute. Pay attention.
49-1. Just remember that as the final score. 49-1. We'll explain later.
Today's a new day. The dawn of a new era has begun. August 17th, 2026.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll get to that next. Stay with us. DJ and PK at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.